Welcome to this edition of the Mayor's Report for the City of Livermore. I'm your host, Sblen Sblendorio. Joining me today is Mayor John Marchand from the City of Livermore. Welcome, John.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Splend.
And how is are you and your family doing well?
We are just getting actually going through a lot of paperwork, going through old files and getting a lot of projects done around the house, the usual.
Well, good. If you need anything else to do, come on over to my place. There's plenty of stuff for you to do. Let's jump right into the questions. It's your choice. What sort of updates or topics do you have for the citizens of Livermore?
Well, one of the pieces of information that many of our residents felt was very important was they were concerned about numbers. And the Alameda County Public Health Department wasn't releasing any of the confirmed COVID-19 numbers. And our community felt that was important. So Dublin Mayor Dave Halbert and I worked through the Alameda County Mayor's Conference. We got the mayors to come together and we put pressure on the Alameda County Public Health Department to make that data available. A lot of the other counties had it, and the question became, why is Alameda County the only one that's not releasing the information? So they finally did. So it turns out that the numbers as of last night for Alameda County, there are 962 confirmed COVID-19 positive cases in Alameda County. In Pleasanton, there are 48. Dublin, there are 20. Livermore has stayed stable at 28 for the last few days. Hayward, for example, has 186. Now, one of the reasons that Hayward is probably higher than the other surrounding cities is that because of testing is very, very limited. The swabs are limited. The test kits are not readily available. Hayward did stand up a testing center, primarily for first responders and also for a lot of their community members. But there were people coming from all around the region to be tested. Now, the question became, well, are they just counting Hayward, or does that go throughout the whole county? Well, it turns out that what Hayward was doing, and now Fremont, is it's reported to what's called Cal Ready. And that information is then reported to all of the different counties. So just because someone is tested in Alameda County doesn't mean that they're reported as Alameda County. So all that data has gone out. As the testing kits become more available, the reagents are more available, that testing will be broadened. One of the things that we're doing right now is Livermore is working with the other Tri-Valley cities, Livermore, Pleasanton, and Dublin, to stand up a testing center at, for example, at the Alameda County Fairgrounds. We're working very closely with Stanford Valley Care on this, primarily at first to test first responders, then frontline medical workers, because those are the folks that if they were positive, they should be quarantined, they should be sheltering in place so that they don't run the risk of infecting other folks. We've seen where infections are going through healthcare facilities, primarily senior care facilities. So we want to make sure that the frontline workers do know if they're positive. So we're working on this very, very diligently to get to stand up this center, to test first responders, medical care workers, and also residents. As soon as we get that standing up, we'll let everybody know and make it accessible. One of the other things that we have found is very important is getting good information out there. There's a lot of bad information. We want to make sure that there's good information. What's important is that with the information about the test results, people's behaviors should just stay the same. Whether we've got 28 cases in Livermore or whether you've got 280, which we don't, but the behaviors should remain the same. Social distancing. People should wear masks now. That's one of the new protocols if they go out in public, to wear masks. Wash your hands frequently. Don't touch your face. Look after your neighbors. So it's the same behaviors regardless of the numbers. Getting the good information out there. The City of Livermore is putting daily updates on Nextdoor. We're putting daily updates on our webpage, cityoflivermore.net. We have a newsletter that's going to be going out within, should be in your mailboxes this week. The city council put out a video. I've put out 2 letters to the community, as have our city council members, have all put out letters to the community. Councilmember Coomber put out one about getting out in the community, getting out onto the trails. There was a wonderful letter from Councilmember Monroe about keeping the community together, serving each other as a community. Councilmember Carling as well. And Councilmember Carling and Monroe, since they are both on my homelessness subcommittee from the council, provided another letter to the community on what we're doing to help those in the community that are less fortunate. So there's a lot of information out there. The best place to start, cityoflivermore.net. And as I said, we've had information on Facebook, on Nextdoor. We even took out ad space in the Independent to get this information out to the community. Best place to start, cityoflivermore.net. And feel free to call the city, call the council members, send us an email. We're still very much engaged with the community.
Well, okay, thank you, John. Now let's drill down a little bit into some city services that people still do need. I mean, they still need to pull a permit or get a license. And what's open? What city services are open and available for the citizens of Livermore?
Okay, so walk-in service at City Hall is not available because social distancing and the like, but still work has to go on. There are certain critically important things that you need to get done, like you mentioned, Splend, permits. If somebody needs a permit for a water heater or plumbing repairs, those sorts of things are still being issued. They can call the city. Services such as utility billing, dog licenses, businesses licenses are still being processed. They can go to the city website, again, cityoflivermore.net. Payments can be made by check or money order. They can be dropped off at the white payment box in front of the city hall at the roundabout, at the police department. Let's see, we're still processing a lot of these permits. We're still doing application analysis and processing, but these are all being done off-site. People are working from home. I asked one of our management analysts to update the website because I found that the Alameda County had changed the address of the COVID dashboard. I emailed her at 10:15 at night, and she emailed me back 10 minutes later. She had already updated the site. So we're working round the clock. The Public Works is still also essential. So Public Works is still out there fixing potholes, making repairs. There's a street light a stoplight that's being installed over on Greenville Road, because that's also going to be very important once we start opening up businesses again. So we're still working very hard. Check with the city's website. Call the city, 960-4000. The city is still working 24/7.
All right, thank you very much, John. I was going to ask you about potholes. That's good. They're being filled. Let's turn to a little bit of discussion of what the rules are for essential businesses in the city. Who's operating, and we'll also talk about the ones that aren't operating, how the city is helping them stay afloat. First, so what's essential in the city of Livermore?
Well, obviously, the city of Livermore is essential. Also, healthcare facilities, grocery stores, restaurants are doing takeout now. Some of our restaurants like Hop Divine and First Street Ale House have pivoted now into a grocery model where they're providing groceries for residents. People can drive up, place an order, and have it dropped off in their trunk. The Sutherland Distillery is now making hand sanitizer. They're taking their Zin Gin base, distilling it into hand sanitizer, adding a little bit of glycerin and hydrogen peroxide so that people can maintain disinfectant. Gas stations are essential, hardware stores, emergency repair providers. As long as they maintain social distancing protocols, they have to limit the number of people that come into their facility. For example, hardware stores, gas stations. maintaining a social distance of 6 feet at a time, providing hand sanitizer and soap and water, disinfectant at the entrance, and frequently washing down or disinfecting the frequently touched surfaces like gas nozzles, gas pump nozzles, the contactless payment system. So if you using a credit card, so you don't have to handle cash or bring your own pen, so you don't have to share a pen. It's obviously a frequent point of contact.
Thank you, John. Briefly, can you tell us what resources are available for businesses that are closed, either on the state or federal level?
Well, the federal government obviously just put out their payroll protection, the Paycheck Protection Program. They released a $2.2 trillion stimulus plan. They can work through, for the 2.7 million Californians that have filed unemployment, the California Unemployment or Employment Development Department is ramping up staffing levels, hours of operation. We have our Tri-Valley One-Stop Career Center is offering resume and interviewing, LinkedIn and other workshops via Zoom, job boards for those that are hiring, grocery stores, obviously caregivers, warehouse and distribution workers, restaurant workers, all of those folks now are out there and in demand. So they can go through the Tri-Valley One-Stop Career Center
John, let's dig that a little bit deeper, but let's take a break now because I think it's important to hear about what resources are available for folks in your community who have lost their jobs.
Right.
So, all right. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back on this edition of the Mayor's Report for the City of Livermore. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. We're here talking with Mayor John Marchand. Welcome back, John.
Well, good to be back.
We left off before the break talking about resources that are available for the unfortunate in our community who have lost their jobs and their livelihoods. What resources are available for them?
Well, first off, I would suggest for people that have lost their jobs, again, the Tri-Valley One-Stop Career Center is very important, pumping up their resumes, interviewing, making those connections, being LinkedIn or Zoom. We've got East Bay Community Energy is providing additional funds and materials, or even there are collections now for personal protection equipment to serve vulnerable populations. There are state and federal assistance programs, loans, grants, informational webinars, technical assistance to identify businesses by sector and sharing them with the impacted businesses. So again, check the city website, check the Livermore Downtown Inc. website. Those are showing some of the businesses that are considered essential and what are the services that they are offering. As I mentioned earlier, we have some that are providing grocery services, delivery services, those are the types of resources to look for. Look to the Chamber of Commerce for information that they have. There's a lot of resources out there. I know there's a high level of frustration, but with a little bit of information, with a little bit of effort, there's a tremendous amount of information that's out there.
Thank you, John. Let's talk about the shelter in place. We've been living under it, surviving for several weeks now, and looks like, at least for a few more weeks, we're going to have it. How is the city enforcing the shelter in place order? And are you seeing any problems that you want to get the word out on how to solve those problems?
Well, we're working together with neighborhood preservation to enforce the county shelter in place. I'm getting emails telling me that I should open up the city. I can't do that. This is an effort. It was an order made by the counties, the 6 county health departments. And we just heard the governor day before yesterday talk about what was going to be necessary to open the state back up again. There were 6 different criteria involving testing and different protocols that would be required. The vast majority of our businesses and residents are complying with the order. In cases where they are not, our, our neighborhood preservation officers and police officers are going there, having a conversation. We do have the authority to cite people that are not complying with the order. We don't want to do that. I got an email the other day complaining that there were kids playing at a ball field. We're not people's parents. I don't think that people believe it's appropriate for the city to go out and cite children. That's something that the parents should be enforcing because it's really to protect all of us. And that's why we're doing this. We all need to work together to ensure that we can get through this together. So we found this very good compliance. We haven't really had to get the police involved, but really let's work together and share the resources that we have. Avoid resist the urge to hoard. I'm very heartened by what I see on Nextdoor, where people are going on Nextdoor and they're offering to share with their neighbors that they do have extra toilet paper, extra hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, these sorts of the things. Share with the community, look after your neighbors. Those are the things that are going to get us through this. And smart things like social distancing, wearing a mask in public, those sorts of things, that's how we're going to get through it together.
Thank you, John. Let's talk a little bit about a portion of your community that is more vulnerable, and that's the seniors. How are they being fed? How are they able to obtain their medications? What resources are available for them?
Well, many grocery stores and pharmacies now have special hours specifically for seniors that they can go in. There are also delivery services that are available. I know that both the city and LARPD have information on their websites about services and volunteer opportunities on our websites. The State Department of Aging has a website with helpful list of resources for seniors. And that's www.aging.ca.gov/COVID-19. Also, the Open Heart Kitchen has their Good Time Cafe lunch program at the Robert Livermore Community Center. And that's offering to-go meal service for seniors via a drive-through service. But also we have Spectrum Community Services. Is still operating its Meals on Wheels program for homebound seniors. Hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes are being used during the meal deliveries to ensure that both clients and volunteers remain healthy. But they do need donations and they do need volunteers. So healthy volunteers that are willing to serve can access more information or volunteer at spectrumcs.org.
Thank you, John. How about talking about what's available for recreational purposes and, for example, parks and what the library may have available for your residents?
Okay, great. Let's see here. Yes. Okay. So unfortunately, playgrounds and play structures, dog parks, those are all closed. Tennis, pickleball is also, basketball courts are closed because you're sharing a ball. You're sharing something, so you can't do anything like that. Golf courses are closed. But open space areas, hiking trails, grassy areas, those all remain open. The neighborhood parks remain open. Just, again, maintain your social distancing. The library has a digital library which provides online services 24/7 through the library's website, which is livermorelibrary.net. The Livermore Library card holders can check out ebooks, downloadable audiobooks, digital magazines, and movies. Card holders can also get to the digital library to take online classes, research their genealogy, learn a new language, get online tutoring, and much more. If somebody doesn't have a library card, temporary cards are available through the library's website. Library cards and digital services are provided by the City of Livermore free of charge. so they can access all of that information at the library just by going to livermorelibrary.net.
Great, John. That's going to be very helpful for a lot of folks because as we go along here in the shelter in place, I know that it just from my appearances and with good weather, people are going to want to be outside. And but any words of encouragement and any words of caution over the next few weeks for your residents?
Well, thank you. Get outside. Get outside. The beautiful weather's coming out now. Walk. If you got a dog, dogs are loving this because it's getting out in the community. But Livermore is resilient and we are strong. But look after your neighbors. These are difficult times and we're going to get through this together. But especially if your neighbors are elderly, check on them. As I mentioned before, it's very heartwarming for me to hear and to read posts about community members that are offering to buy groceries, to share resources, to run errands for those that are having a hard time. And as you pointed out, Sblen, remember there are those that are struggling during these, the best of times. And donate your time, talent, or treasure to those that are helping the others. For example, Open Heart Kitchen. Their number is 925-580-1616. And you can see how you can volunteer and help out for them. As I mentioned, their Good Time Tavern or their community services. City Serve of the Tri-Valley, 925-223-6947. And volunteer your time to help out. Tri-Valley Haven, 800-884-8119. There are many homebound seniors, as you pointed out, that need nutritious meals during this time of crisis. Considering volunteering as a driver, donating to Meals on Wheels. You can get Spectrum at spectrumcs.org or Spectrum at 925-421-4657. Support your local business community. Order takeout from your favorite restaurant or delivery to keep up our restaurants. Buy gift cards that you can use later once they reopen. There's a lot you can do, a lot that we all can do to help make sure that Livermore thrives. This is a difficult time, but as I said, we are Livermore. We will keep working together and we will get through this together.
All right, thanks, John. Thank you very much for those words of wisdom. And finally, let's emphasize that people do need to practice social distancing and wear masks now. Let's emphasize that.
And the most important thing, just wash your hands frequently, disinfect commonly used surfaces. We will get through this together. But the numbers really are irrelevant for the cities. It's important for counties to do the tracking and tracing, but for cities, whether it's 20 or 200, maintain social distancing, wash your hands frequently, avoid touching your face, and help out your neighbors. Thank you very much. Livermore Mayor John Marchand, be safe, stay well.
Thank you, Mayor, for being here today and updating us. And thank you for joining us on this edition of the Mayor's Report for the City of Livermore. Join us for the next episode of the Mayor's Report right here on Tri-Valley TV. I'm Sblen Sblendorio. Thank you for joining us.